In 1997, two babies were born in California just 5 days apart. They had the same father, but only one was supposed to be born. For 14 years, Arnold Schwarzenegger kept this a secret. The housekeeper brought the child to Arnold's house every day. As the boy grew older, he started to look more and more like Arnold. Still, no one said a word for 14 years. Then, during a therapy session, Arnold finally admitted the truth. That moment changed everything. The family couldn't recover from it. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in 1947 in a small village in Austria right after World War II. His father, Gustav, was the local police chief. He was very strict and shaped by the trauma of the war. Gustav had once been buried under rubble for 3 days during the war and never fully recovered. At home, he was hard and often violent. Arnold and his older brother, Meinhard, grew up in fear. Their father made them compete for attention. Even simple things like picking flowers for their mom became a contest. When Gustav drank, things got worse. There was yelling and beatings. In Austria, this wasn't rare. But Arnold wanted more. He didn't want to just survive, he wanted to escape. At just 4 years old, Arnold had to earn breakfast by doing 200 sit-ups and push-ups every day. His father never let him skip a day, no matter the weather. After workouts came football practice and school. Mistakes in homework had to be corrected over and over. Gustav believed hard pressure built strong character. Arnold handled it, but Meinhard didn't. Meinhard was more sensitive, creative, and quiet. He started drinking and in 1971 died in a car crash at 24. Arnold, who had already moved to America, didn't attend the funeral. People didn't understand why, but Arnold later said, "The same thing that made me who I am destroyed him." 1 year later, their father died. Arnold carried those emotional scars, but he didn't let them define him. At 14, Arnold's life changed. While playing football, his coach took the team to a local gym near a lake. Arnold saw men lifting weights and building muscles. He was hooked. Football was out. Lifting weights became his life. By 15, he trained 6 days a week. He read magazines and watched every film about bodybuilding. At 18, he won Junior Mr. Europe. At 20, he became the youngest Mr. Universe. He had found his escape, but behind the success there was a dark family secret. Arnold's father had joined the Nazi Party in 1938. He officially joined in 1941 and served as a sergeant in the Nazi military police, fighting in brutal battles. Arnold didn't talk about it for years. But in 1990 he asked the Simon Wiesenthal Center to investigate his father. At first no crimes were found, but later more was discovered. Arnold didn't deny it. Instead, he used the truth to speak out against hate and violence. At 19, Arnold made a big move. He left Austria and went to Munich with just a suitcase. After finishing army service, he arrived in a new world. Munich was big and loud, but Arnold told himself it would be his new home. He shared a small room with other bodybuilders and sometimes slept in the gym's storage room. He trained clients at a gym and barely made enough money. The space was old, but to Arnold, it was perfect. He trained 5 to 6 hours daily, 7 days a week. He worked on his weak areas with 60 sets per session. He slept 10 hours a night and avoided smoking and drinking. Even his roommates were bodybuilders. They supported each other. The gym became more than a workout place, it became home. In September 1967, at age 20, Arnold won Mr. Universe in London. He had lost before, but this time he beat American favorite Dennis Tenorino. The win shocked the bodybuilding world. Arnold's size, shape, and confidence stood out. Back in Munich, he stood shirtless in the snow for a photo shoot. He didn't care about the cold. He wanted to be seen. This win was just the beginning. He went on to win Mr. Universe 5 times and Mr. Olympia 7 times. People noticed. His training was extreme. While others trained for short sessions, Arnold trained twice a day, 6 days a week. He focused on different muscle groups each day. His weight during the off-season reached 255 pounds, much higher than his competition weight. Experts warned he'd burn out, but he didn't. He believed you had to shock the muscles to make them grow. Not all his gains were natural. Arnold admitted to using steroids like Dianabol and testosterone in small doctor-supervised doses. Back then, steroids weren't illegal, and people saw them differently. Some say he used more than he admitted and introduced others to it. Arnold didn't pretend to be perfect. He was honest about what it took. In 1968, Arnold flew to America with just $20, a strong accent and a dream. He was 21 and didn't speak much English. He didn't understand American culture, but he knew he wanted to make it. He grew up poor in a cold village. At 20 he was Mr. Universe, but he wanted more. America was the dream, and it had been since he was 10. His early days in the US were tough. He didn't understand menus. People laughed at his accent. But the bodybuilding community helped him. Strangers gave him food, blankets, and even a TV. Joe Weider, a big name in bodybuilding, gave him a place to stay and paid him to train full-time. Arnold never forgot that kindness. He always said he didn't make it alone. 2 years later, he won Mr. Olympia at 23, the youngest ever. He kept winning from 1970 to 1975. He beat legends like Sergio Oliva and Lou Ferrigno. Even when Mr. Olympia split the contest into weight classes, Arnold won. In 1980, he surprised everyone with a comeback victory. His 7th title. His first win paid just $1,000. By 1980, it paid $25,000. Arnold helped grow the sport just by being in it. But Arnold wasn't just strong, he was smart. He got into his rivals' heads. Before one contest, he told Lou Ferrigno at breakfast that he almost looked ready. That small comment made Lou nervous. Arnold used jokes, rumors, and tricks to make others doubt themselves. He believed if you couldn't handle the pressure, you didn't deserve to win. To Arnold, bodybuilding was art. His 22-inch biceps became famous. He trained arms multiple times a week with tough routines. But he also trained smart. He connected his mind to each move. He even twisted his wrist during curls to shape his biceps perfectly. He wanted size, shape, and detail. Then came the spotlight. In 1977, the film Pumping Iron came out. It made bodybuilding popular and turned Arnold into a star. But not everything in the movie was real. Some parts were scripted. They even made up rivalries for drama. Arnold didn't mind. He played the villain to get attention. It worked, but breaking into acting wasn't easy. Hollywood laughed at his name and his accent. One executive called him Schnitzel. They wanted him to play bad guys, not heroes. He didn't fit the image of a Hollywood star back then, but Arnold didn't give up. He was just getting started. Arnold was different. Still, he kept going. His first movie was Hercules in New York in 1970. It was awkward. They changed his name to Arnold Strong and replaced his voice. The movie flopped. For 5 years he got no big roles, but he stayed patient. Then in 1976 things changed. He got a part in Stay Hungry. This time his accent helped. He showed charm and even won a Golden Globe for Best Acting Debut. That win opened new doors. In 1982 he starred in Conan the Barbarian. It had a $20 million budget and made $79 million worldwide. It was a big success. Arnold became a real movie star. His size, his accent, and his screen presence became strengths. Then came 3 famous words: "I'll be back." In 1984, Arnold starred in The Terminator. It cost $6.4 million to make and earned $78 million. He almost didn't say that line, but director James Cameron insisted. It became iconic. Arnold wasn't just a star now, he was a legend. From 1985 to 1991, hit after hit followed. Commando made $57 million. Predator made $98 million. The Running Man, Red Heat, and Raw Deal added to his fame. He was shaping action movies. Then in 1988 he surprised everyone by doing a comedy. Twins teamed him with Danny DeVito. The idea sounded crazy, but the movie made $216 million worldwide, on a $15 million budget. Arnold, DeVito, and the director skipped salaries and took profit shares. Each made over $35 million. Arnold proved he could be funny too. Next came Total Recall in 1990. It had a $65 million budget, one of the biggest ever. The effects were groundbreaking. It made $261 million worldwide. Sci-fi movies had never looked like this. Then came the biggest one. Terminator 2 in 1991. The budget was $102 million. The largest at the time, it earned over $517 million. The effects were revolutionary. Arnold made $15 million and became the highest paid actor in the world. 2 changed action films forever. By 1993 he was named International Star of the Decade. He was more than a bodybuilder or actor. He was a global icon. By 1996 Arnold was on top. He was a global superstar. married to Maria Shriver from the Kennedy family and preparing for politics. But behind the scenes he was living a double life. That same year, while Maria was pregnant with their fourth child, Arnold secretly began an affair with Mildred Bate-Ina, the housekeeper. The real shock. Maria gave birth to Christopher on September 27, 1997. Just 5 days later, Mildred gave birth to Joseph, Arnold's secret son. Both women were pregnant at the same time, living in the same house. Mildred even brought baby Joseph over. No one suspected anything. Joseph's birth certificate listed Mildred's husband Rogelio as the father. But as Joseph grew, he started to look exactly like Arnold. When the truth came out, it destroyed the family. Joseph became estranged from his half-siblings, and Mildred had to leave town to escape the attention. And then things got worse. In 2003, during Arnold's campaign for governor of California, the Los Angeles Times published a shocking report. 15 women accused him of groping, humiliating, or making unwanted sexual advances over 30 years. One said he pulled her onto his lap and made rude comments. Another said he pulled off her swimsuit in an elevator. Others said he groped them on film sets. The media called it Gropegate, but instead of sinking his campaign, Arnold pushed forward. He denied the claims. And still he won the election with nearly 49% of the vote. Years later, he admitted in a Netflix documentary, "Forget the excuses, it was wrong." In 2003, he made things worse during an interview with Esquire. He said, "When you see a blonde with great tits and a great ass, you say she must be stupid." He added that some were smart. But the damage was done. Women's rights groups were outraged. Protesters filled the streets. People said he wasn't just guilty of bad behavior. They said he was sexist. One of the most upsetting stories came from Carla Barron, a stand-in on Twins in 1988. She said Arnold and another man sandwiched her, and then Arnold kissed her with a cigar in his mouth. She said it felt like kissing an ashtray. She slapped him and told him to stop. He apologized, but she knew she couldn't fight him. Hollywood protected its stars. Her story was backed by others on set. Still, Arnold won the October 7, 2003 recall election. Over 4.2 million people voted for him. That included 43% of women and even 18% of Democrats. The numbers shocked everyone. His campaign buses were named after his movies like Total Recall and Running Man. He became California's second foreign-born governor. Once in office, Arnold didn't hold back. In 2004, when Democrats didn't support his budget plan, he mocked them. He called them girly men, a line from Saturday Night Live. Some cheered. Others were furious. Critics called it sexist and homophobic. He refused to apologize. But then something surprising happened. Arnold started supporting progressive policies. In 2007, he proposed a $12 billion universal health care plan for all 6.5 million uninsured Californians, including undocumented immigrants. He called it shared responsibility. Everyone had to pitch in, people, employers, and insurance companies. Conservatives were angry. Liberals were shocked. He also pushed for action on climate change. In 2006, he supported the Global Warming Solutions Act. It made California a leader in cutting emissions. Environmentalists praised him. Republicans were not happy. Arnold had become a political wild card, but bold plans came with a high cost. When he took office, California had $34 billion in debt. When he left, it was $91 billion. That's a $57 billion increase. Cutting the vehicle license fee cost billions. He borrowed $15 billion in bonds and another $37 billion for projects. Then came the 2008 financial crisis. Tax revenue dropped. Jobs vanished. The budget fell apart. Even with cuts and furloughs, he couldn't stop the bleeding. By the end, every Californian owed $2,362 in state debt, more than double from before. Interest alone took up more than 7% of the budget. Services like education and healthcare were slashed. Arnold's promise to fix California's money problems ended in failure. By 2010, his approval rating fell to just 23%. That was lower than the governor he replaced. A 2009 poll had him at 28%. People were angry. The budget was broken. The dreams were gone. Conservatives felt betrayed. Liberals thought he was all talk. No one was happy. The state legislature was also at just 17% approval. California was stuck. Arnold came in with fame, confidence, and big ideas. But he left with a broken budget and a disappointed public. Then on January 4, 2011, just one day after leaving office, everything changed again. He and Maria went to a marriage counseling session. But this wasn't just to talk things out. It was a setup. The therapist turned to Arnold and said, "Maria wants to know, did you father a child with Mildred the housekeeper?" Arnold froze. Then, after years of denial and hiding, Arnold finally admitted the truth. It's true. The confession hit like a bomb. Joseph Badina, the boy in question, had been born just 5 days after Maria gave birth to their youngest son, Christopher. Arnold had tried to believe that Mildred's husband was the father, but Joseph started to look more and more like Arnold. Maria had suspected it for years. She even asked Mildred directly before finally bringing it up in therapy. That one moment shattered everything. A secret buried for 14 years destroyed a family the public saw as royalty. Arnold later said it felt like his heart stopped. "I told the truth," he said, "and I knew everything would collapse." Maria didn't yell or cry, but the damage was instant. His simple admission, "Yes, Joseph is my son," ended their 25-year marriage. The timing made it worse. The affair happened in 1996 while Maria and the kids were away and Arnold was filming Batman and Robin. Joseph was born in October 1997, just 5 days after Christopher. Soon after the confession, Maria moved out. She filed for divorce within months. Arnold later said, "I caused pain, deep pain. For Maria, for the kids, for Joseph, for his mother. Everyone. This was a total failure." Joseph, only 13, learned the truth not from his father but from the news. Headlines exploded in 2011. News vans surrounded their home in Bakersfield. Cameras waited for a glimpse of the boy who had become international tabloid news. Mildred pulled him out of school and said, "We have to leave." Everyone knows now. He was just in 8th grade, still growing up, still figuring out who he was. Now the whole world knew something about him that he hadn't even fully understood himself. They fled to Texas to escape the chaos. Joseph later said, "It all changed overnight." Though Arnold and Joseph would later bond over fitness and training, those early years were hard. Pure trauma. Maria was also dealing with heartbreak that went deeper than betrayal. Between 2009 and 2011, she lost both her parents, Eunice and Sergeant Shriver. Her world was already shaken. Now her marriage was gone too. She said, "It broke my heart. It broke what was left of me." She felt lost, full of grief, fear, anger, and shame. In July 2011, she officially filed for divorce. The legal battle dragged on for 10 years. It wasn't finalized until 2021. In those years, Maria searched for healing. She tried therapy, meditation, even shamans and psychics. The collapse of her marriage wasn't just personal. It was public. A Kennedy met Hollywood scandal and Maria was caught in the middle. Arnold tried to return to the big screen. In 2010, he made a cameo in The Expendables. It took just 2 hours to shoot, but fans loved it. Seeing him with Stallone and Bruce Willis again sparked serious nostalgia. In 2012's Expendables 2, his role got bigger. He was back, or so it seemed. But by the time Expendables 3 came out, he was disappointed. He felt the writing was weak and his character didn't matter. He walked away from the 4th movie. His comeback lacked the power he wanted. Fans had moved on. Arnold, once the king of 80s action, was now in his 60s. People still respected him, but the world had changed. Then came Terminator Genisys in 2015. Arnold returned to his most famous role. The film had a $155 million budget. It was meant to bring back the franchise and Arnold's star power, but it didn't work. The US opening was just $28.7 million. After 5 days, it had only made $44.2 million in America. International sales were better at $74 million, but it wasn't enough. It became one of the lowest performing Terminator films. Even his line, "old but not obsolete," couldn't save it. Studios hoped China would help, but Western fans had lost interest. The failure proved something clear: Arnold's blockbuster magic couldn't be repeated. Meanwhile, older issues came back. Back in 2003, just before his run for governor, the Los Angeles Times had published a story. Many women accused Arnold of groping and inappropriate behavior. He had denied it then, calling it fake. But by 2023, in his Netflix documentary Arnold, he told the truth. "Forget all the excuses," he said, "it was wrong." Over 15 women had come forward with stories from over 3 decades. His late apology didn't erase the past, but it showed that even icons must face their actions. The documentary also covered his affair with Mildred. He finally owned the secret he had tried to bury. In 2022, Arnold made headlines again. He was involved in a 4-car crash in Los Angeles. He was driving a black GMC Yukon when he hit a red Toyota Prius on Sunset Boulevard. The SUV rolled on top of the Prius and hit 2 other cars. Arnold was unhurt, but Cheryl Augustine, the Prius driver, wasn't. She suffered head trauma and brain bleeding. Her lawyer said she was now permanently disabled. She sued Arnold for reckless driving, saying he refused to take responsibility. Police found no drugs or alcohol, but the crash showed how one mistake could change someone's life forever. Fame didn't protect him from court. Still, Arnold tried to stay close with all 5 of his children, including Joseph Bida. The affair had destroyed his marriage, but he wanted to be part of Joseph's life. His other children, with Maria, Catherine, Christina, Patrick, and Christopher, still appear with him at public events. He praises them online, celebrates their birthdays, and talks proudly about their lives. Joseph has made his own path. He's acted in small movies, competed on Dancing with the Stars in 2022, and landed a Men's Health magazine cover. He also works in real estate and has finished a triathlon. He looks and moves like his father, but he wants to build his own name. But one wound hasn't healed: the distance between Joseph and his half-siblings. Though they share a father and were born just 5 days apart, Joseph has no real relationship with them. He wasn't invited to Catherine's wedding. He likes their social media posts, but they don't respond. It's subtle but clear. To them, he represents betrayal, and to Joseph, their silence says a lot. He and his mother had to leave their home when the truth came out. He grew up feeling like a secret, something shameful. Even as Arnold tries to bring the family together, the emotional wounds remain. Joseph is a living reminder of the secret that shattered the family. Arnold has said this is his biggest regret, bigger than any failed movie or political mistake. "I did this. Everyone suffered," he said. He's apologized to Maria, to the kids, to the women he hurt. He's tried to change, but the damage has already been done. He says he never wants Joseph to feel unwanted because of his mistake. That may be the most honest thing Arnold has ever said. Because while his muscles, movies, and fame made him larger than life, it's his failures that made him truly human.